Hi, my name is Shaniva Hatter, and I'm going to be doing my needs assessment presentation on homeless veterans living with PTSD. This particular topic is very important to me, being a veteran myself and having several family members that are veterans, and also living in a military-based community. A lot of the homeless people, which I was not aware of, were homeless veterans that were suffering with PTSD. So it made this topic really interesting for me because it made me want to research and really find a solution to the problem that's in our community. Who are our veterans? Our veterans, according to Title 38 of the Code of Federal Regulations, is defined as a person who served in the active Army or military, naval or air services, and who were discharged or released under conditions other than dishonorable. The purpose of this needs assessment project is to find resources available for veterans that can get them the services they need to manage their PTSD, as well as their being homeless. Services needed are transportation, health providers, and community resources. There are over 13,000 veterans that are homeless and are suffering from PTSD, according to the National Coalition of Homeless Veterans. Most veterans are not taking advantage of the free resources and services offered to them because of their lack of knowledge. This comes from majority of programs and different resources needed to get the services being completed on a computer. We all know that the age that we're living in now, everything is like based on a computer. You need Wi Fi to do that. You need to have a phone to be able to access services. So if the veterans are not able to have access to these kind of things, then they're not able to access the resources that they need either. For my data collection, I contacted three organizations in the community, but all three are homeless organizations. The first one was Must Ministries, and I contacted Sandy Fields, who's the Vice President of Resource Development. Ms. Fields has been with the organization for 3 years, and she is responsible for annual workplace campaigns for the public and private sectors and individual donor engagement, including donors outside the organization and outside of the traditional workplace and leadership affinity groups. The second place that I reached out to was Hope Atlanta, and I was able to reach Rachel Parks, who is the program coordinator, and she's responsible for the overall running of the program. She works with staff members, budgets, and procedures to ensure that the implementation and success of the programs are running and basically making sure the program is running smooth. And she has been with the program for 2.5 years. The Marietta Homeless Authority, I spoke with the Jared Price, who is the program coordinator there also, and he works with the executive director and the LTLC board to develop and maintain a successful corporate foundation and individual donor solicitation program and to develop and manage a portfolio of corporate and foundation prospects and individual donors. Jared has been with the program for 5 years. So the results of my assessment are and some of the biggest challenges for the homeless veterans with PTSD is the lack of knowledge of the available programs. And once again, I state that because without computers and technology, you're unable to access a lot of things that you need just in general. Veterans not taking the proper medication to manage their disability. Most people that are diagnosed with PTSD are receiving medications, and in order to get those medications, you have to be seeing a doctor on a regular basis. Lack of knowledge and housing programs available to veterans. There are a lot of programs available to veterans, housing programs that will help them get on their feet. They'll help them pay rent and different services of that nature to help them not live on the streets. Lack of transportation and employment. A lot of our veterans don't have vehicles, so they're not able to get back and forth to appointments, and a lot of them are not even employed. and lack of family support. Recommendations that I thought would help out would be having a mobile program that can transport veterans to the VA for their services, mentors that can help them when applying for benefits and that will walk them through the entire process from beginning to end, help in finding a PCP that can manage their medication, and workshops that cater to veterans and getting them back in the job market. All of these recommendations are just based on what I experienced from my standpoint. And I feel like if we had these things in place, we would have a very huge drop in the amount of veterans we see on the streets that are suffering with PTSD, as well as other conditions. So, how do we reach our veterans? Upon doing my research, the best way to reach the veterans is to provide information to all of the homeless shelters in the area so that they can refer any homeless veteran for services. This can be done at the intake portion of the process when they are filling out paperwork. Once it is determined that they are a veteran, they will be able to contact the program directly and someone will be able to come to the location and provide services to the veteran directly. In reflection, I think that overall my needs assessment experience was very successful because it was something that I was interested in even before taking this particular class. Being a veteran myself, I know how hard it can be to access services that are provided to you. If you're not able to get to a computer or have a vehicle, getting help can be a huge challenge. The challenge is even magnified for those who are suffering from PTSD as well. For the most part, my assessment went well, and I am very happy with the information I was able to get from all of the organizations I reached out to. I was able to gain more knowledge on how not only to help veterans get services, but also get them back on their feet. Again, one of the major hindrances for the veterans is not having transportation and a stable place to live. Once we get these two things addressed, I think it will be easier to help the veterans with everything else. I learned from this experience that even though services are out there for veterans, a lot of veterans still don't get the help they need because they're unable to access the services or don't even know how. Reaching out to shelters and hearing stories about how we help people that have how we have helped people that have served our country sleeping in shelters or and are on the streets makes me want to do something to help. I think this is something I'm very passionate about and I want to use my social work skills to help find a permanent solution to the problem so that our veterans can get the care that they need, especially after all the hard work that they have put in for our country. The entire community and organizational process was something I was unfamiliar with. I'm sorry, with familiar with taking the class. I currently work as a social worker, definitely on a micro level, but this class makes you think outside of the box. Through this entire process, I have gained more knowledge and gained more community connections, which is something I can use throughout my entire career as a social worker. Thank you very much for watching my presentation.